Welcome to All Caribbean Entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning into another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, Mr. Karan Rose. DJ, you know what to do. You know what to do, DJ. Fade us out. Fade us all the way out. We got to talk to the people. Whew, it is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, episode number 82. How are y'all doing, beautiful people? How is my Digipreneur FM family doing today? Well, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we were under storm watch, like a tropical cyclone watch for the last 24 hours. And it was looking pretty grim. And then when the storm was expected to hit the Twin Island Republic, we pretty much got light showers. And it ended up passing and nothing really happened. You know, they are saying that, you know, it's passed, but we could still get, you know, some heavy rainfall from some of the trailing clouds and whatnot. So hopefully it's nothing too crazy, but the storm has passed and we were left unscathed. So I am happy. What I'm not happy about is, what am I going to do with all of my storm snacks? I got a bunch of storm snacks now that I don't even know what to do with. I guess it's going to be there, but that was, I wish we could return some of the storm snacks. Not only would it save me some money, but it would save me from having to eat all of it. I'm just joking. That's just going to be there for the supplies now, but say what? Glad that we were pretty much able to, make it through unscathed without any real problems other than, some normal rainfall. So I'm happy for that. In other news, folks, guess what? You guys, the community, has made the Digipreneur FM podcast the number one podcast in the entire country. Oh my goodness. Oh, brilliant. Oh my goodness. Listen to me. Currently, the Digipreneur FM podcast is number one in 3 categories in Trinidad and Tobago. It is the number one overall podcast in the entire country through the overall podcast. So of any categories, right now we're holding down number one in all categories. So we are the number one podcast in the entire country. Then we are also the number one podcast in the business category. And we are also the number one podcast in the entrepreneurship category. So boy, yes, family. Thank you for all of the support. As you guys know, the Digipreneur podcast hit 1 year a week ago, and we are at 82 episodes. And yeah, the podcast has never been number one in all podcasts. We've always been close. We've hit number 2. We've hit number 3. We've been in the top 5 multiple times, but never number 1, because DJ Private Ryan in Trinidad is unmatched. This man is like number 1 for all podcasts, consistently. Since I started to track, where we are on the podcast charts on Apple Podcast charts. And as you guys know, Apple Podcasts is the number one podcast platform in the world. So, when you're ranking on Apple Podcast charts, you're doing pretty well. Because Apple Podcasts is the number one directory in the world for podcasting. So you're doing really well on that when you are, ranking. And then we do rank on, in Jamaica, Barbados, Dominica. Sometimes we've hit the Canadian charts, so we're up and down in the other countries. But Dominica, usually we're usually top 20. Barbados, we're usually top 20. And Jamaica, one month they love you, the next month you're low or not ranking. So I mean, we're in and out of Jamaica, but nonetheless, the support always has to start from home. You always want to start building that base from home. So we are number one in 3 categories, and right now, I'm just really grateful that we are the number one overall podcast in all podcasts in Trinidad and Tobago. So I think that's amazing because again, I've never gotten that spot. I've come close in the year, but never gotten that spot. And we are number one in 3 categories the exact same time. That's crazy. That's never happened before. Hopefully it's not going to be the last. Matter of fact, I know it's not going to be the last because the Digipreneur FM podcast family continues to grow. So that's amazing. That's really amazing. And again, I just want to thank everybody for the support. Now that we have gotten that out the way, Mr. Rose, what are we here for today? What are we talking about today? What is the topic for today? So, today's episode is going to be answering the question. And that question is, what can I do if I am not interested in making videos for content marketing? I said, what can I do if I am not interested in making videos for content marketing? This is a question that is constantly coming up, and it's even louder now because all of these social media platforms is pushing for video. And even though the platforms are pushing for video, there is still a lot of people who do not want to do video. They don't want to do video. And there's multiple reasons as to why. And I can't say I blame anybody that doesn't want to do video, because for a long time, I myself wasn't doing video. But the question remains now, or the question that is getting asked even more now is, well, people want to do content for their business, but if everybody's asking for video and I don't want to do video, well, then what else can be done? Because I don't want to do video. And they're being realistic with themselves and they're not going to do the video. So what else can be done? So that's the topic for today. And while thinking about it, I came up with 3 reasons. There's a lot more. I feel like this is a particular episode where I would probably I could probably bring in, other content marketers, and this topic could be a very long and lengthy topic because there is so many things you can do if you do not want to do video content. And I think it's a very nuanced topic, and it goes deeper than just what you might think it is. All right, there's a lot of reasons why people don't want to do video, and then there's a lot of things that you can do if you do not want to do video. But I'm gonna break it down into 3 things. I'm gonna give you guys 3 things you can do if you're not interested in doing videos for your content, for your business. All right, so let's get to it. Number 1. The first thing you can do, and the first thing you should do, this should be the priority, If you are somebody who is not interested in doing video content for your business, even though you know that video is being pushed by every single social media platform, this is what you should be doing first and foremost. You need to do a deep dive into why you do not want to do videos. Because the people that typically do not want to do videos and they're very adamant they don't want to do videos, it has nothing to do with shooting the video and putting it out there. There are deeper reasons as to why you don't want to do video. And that could be due to self-confidence. That could be due to a fear of putting yourself out there. Because for some reason, doing videos and putting yourself in and putting it out there, that makes it real. That is a whole new level of vulnerability when you're doing video content that you might not feel with the other forms of content. Is it a fear of putting your face out there? Because there's a lot of people who straight up don't want their face out there. And then there are those who just have a fear of a lack of the technical skills. So is it that? So I need you to do a deep dive. Take some time, sit down, drink some tea, take yourself out to a dinner, go stare at the ocean, go sit in the woods, go drink some wine, go drink a beer. Go drink some rum. Do what you got to do to put yourself in that state where you can reflect, because there could be a deeper reason as to why you do not want to do videos. And the reason I say this is because when I'm speaking to people, and everybody that doesn't want to do videos, a lot of these are the reasons that come up. Self-confidence, fear of putting themselves out there, fear of putting their face out there, lack of technical skills, fear of public opinion, fear of being judged. These are all reasons as to and these are very valid reasons. I don't want anybody that you see online preaching video to invalidate those reasons. They are valid. What has to happen now is you need to be real with yourself and doing that self-discovery, being real with yourself. And if you come to the realization as to what it is, there's help out there, right? So even though we might have those deeper reasons as to why we don't want to do videos, and it has nothing to do with the marketing, there is help out there. So if it's an issue of self-confidence, there is confidence coaches. If it's a fear of being judged or a fear of putting yourself out there, you might even need a therapist. Because again, there are deeper issues at play. It might even be good to go and speak to a therapist. Have a session. Because again, it has nothing to do with the videos at that point. There's a deeper reason. And it might be a reason that your therapist can start the conversation with you. You might go and tell the therapist, hey, I have a fear of public speaking. I have a fear of putting myself out there. I have a fear of putting my face in videos and putting it out there. And by the time the therapist does what they got to do, you're talking about childhood issues and trauma and all that other stuff that comes with it. Because remember, that's just the symptom. The me not wanting to put myself out there is the symptom of a deeper issue. Right? So, could be worth speaking to a therapist about. There are self-confidence coaches. If you feel like it's just a lack of technical skills, like you don't want to be, like if you're somebody who, maybe you're a bit of a perfectionist, or maybe, you're doing videos and all looks like trash and you're like, man, I just don't want to put this out there. It looks bad. There are video coaches out there. There are video coaches out there that you could work with to teach you how to do video better. And if maybe a coach is out the budget, there are also courses on platform like Udemy or Skillshare that you could take to learn how to do video and do video right from your phone. So you don't need all the fancy stuff, right? I do the majority of my videos right now, as much as I have my DSLR, the majority of the videos I do is on my cell phone. And I don't even think my phone is 3 years old at this point. I don't even think my phone does the sexiest videos on the market right now. But I'm still pumping with my phone. I'm still shooting my videos with my phone, and videos are going. My most viewed videos are all videos I've shot with my phone, even though I feel like my video quality isn't that great. What I did invest in, though, I invested in a lapel mic, a lavalier mic that connects to my phone, USB. I didn't even splurge to get the wireless. I got the one that plugs into my phone, into my USB-C port, and I'm holding it up. I just invested in that the other day. So, my last 2 videos I shot, I don't even think my last 2 videos, I think my very last video I shot, I was using the microphone, and I was like, oh, yes, finally, really good audio quality. Because the hundreds of videos I put out before using my phone, I wasn't feeling the audio. You're hearing the fan in the background, the video. I realized at some points kind of cut in, kind of cut out. I wasn't really a fan of the audio, and I could hear the blemishes in the audio. But you know what? Done is always better than perfect. I live and die by that. The most I'm going to do is if I really, really, really don't like the video, like I really don't like it, I might shoot it over once or twice. But I'll tell you this about me. My hard rule that I don't ever violate. I will never shoot over a video past the 3rd try. Whatever I get on the 3rd try, that's the video getting published. Because I know, and this is again from years, this is my personal experience and learning myself. In the past, whenever I would do more than 3 tries to do a video, the video never got published. Never. And so I had to get past that for myself. I was constantly, messing up, or it didn't feel right, or I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it came off. Listen, a million excuses. And the video just never got published. And so a couple of years ago, I decided, you know what? 3 tries. And that 3rd try, whatever it is, whatever comes out on that 3rd try, that's what you're posting. So, okay, the 1st try, I try to do my best to get it done in the 1st try, because Lord knows it's hard to maintain the enthusiasm when you're reshooting something over, especially when the video is like if I shoot like a 3-minute video to post on TikTok or Instagram Reels. If I shoot a 3-minute video in one take, and I don't script. I make points and I speak to the points. And sometimes the points I might get the points in the 1st try. Like, yes, I hit the points, but then the audio might have messed up, or or something, whatever the reason is. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this over, or I'll delete parts of it and then redo. Right? Because with TikTok, you can edit your clips and just edit those particular clips. So I had to redo it. And then maybe the 2nd try isn't that good. And then again, to maintain that enthusiasm is hard. So that 3rd try, I know for me too, that 3rd try, I could still maintain my enthusiasm after the 3rd try. I'm like, F it. My enthusiasm is gone for the video. and then it just goes downhill from there. Then if I were to reshoot it, I might go take a break. I come back from the break, I don't even care about the thing anymore, and it just goes downhill. So I've had to learn for myself 3 tries and whatever it is, done is better than perfect. Get it out there, because guess what? The more you keep doing your videos, the better and better and better and better it gets over time. And then the mistakes that you make in the beginning become automatic. You don't make those same mistakes. So for me, I know that, I've been doing vertical videos for a while now. I know that the camera quality of my video isn't always the best. The lighting has been a mess. I've been playing around with the lighting, so now I know how to get better lighting. And it's still not even the greatest, but it's better than where it was, some months ago. I realized the audio wasn't the greatest. I spent, I think, like $10 or $15 on a lavalier mic. Went and bought that off of Amazon, got that. Okay, audio is on point. And to me, for video, audio is more important than, especially like on your cell phone, audio is more important than the actual video quality itself, because the video quality could be top notch, but if the audio isn't there, then people are just not going to listen to it. However, once we can see what's going on and the video ain't that bad, if the audio is crispy, then people are going to listen. And the audio will help your visual. But if your audio is bad, your audio is just going to destroy the video. So keep that in mind. If your video isn't that great, but the audio quality is there, your audio will help the video. But if your video quality is crispy and that audio quality ain't good, then that video is just dead. All right? So that first thing to do is that deep dive into why you do not want to do video. If it's confidence, there are self-confidence coaches. There are confidence coaches. If it's, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of being judged, that type of vibes, it's worth seeking out a therapist, have a session, let them know, hey, I want to get into video content, but I have a fear of public speaking. I have a fear of putting myself out there. They'll work with you through that. They will work with you through that, right? And then if it's a fear of technical skills, take a course, go on YouTube, learn how to do TikTok videos on YouTube. You don't have to spend money. Go on YouTube, start to search how to do videos on TikTok. There's even TikTok coaches on TikTok that are showing you hundreds of videos to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then if you're somebody who is a perfectionist and you keep on redoing, hey, take my 2 cents, take my stupid advice. Create that hard 3 rule where you're giving yourself 3 tries. And by the 3rd time, whatever comes out of the camera, you're posting it. And you'll just work on whatever mistakes you made, you'll just work on it for the next time. And just keep on going. Keep on doing. Okay? So that's the first thing I need you to do when it comes to video content, and if you are not interested in doing videos for your content marketing. Number 2 is understand that video is not the only way to get your message out there and to build a community and do content. Start a podcast. Podcasts have many unique benefits, and most importantly, it's the medium with the highest consumption rate. So if you do not want to do video at all, then do an audio-only podcast. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm in baking, I'm in juicing, I'm in sewing, whatever your industry is, there is a podcast for it. So what you can do is jump on Google and type in sewing podcasts. All right, I'm doing this as we speak too. Sewing podcasts. And look at that. There are hundreds of sewing podcasts. Love to Sew, Sewing Out Loud, the Threads Magazine podcast, Sew and Tell, Stitch Please, oh my God, I like that. SEW, So Organized Style. I love that play on word. Seamwork Radio, Modern Society. SEW Society, Modern Society. Look at this. Stitcher's Brew, Declutter and Organize, The Thread Cult, the Craft Industry Alliance, Whip Stitch. Wow. Let's do another one. Let's type in coffee podcasts. Coffee podcasts. I know this is going to be easy. Look at this. The Coffee Podcast, Making Coffee with Lucia Solis, Coffee Lovers Radio, A History of Coffee, Coffee is Me, Filter Stories. Wow, look at that. Keys to the Shop, A Better Table Podcast, Adventures of Coffee, Bean Stuff Coffee, Coffee's Done, No Free Refills. Listen, any industry. Let's do another one. Let's do contractor podcasts. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Look at this. The Art of Construction. The Lean, Lien, the Lean Zone. The Construction Leading Edge Podcast. The Contractor Fight. The Wealthy Contract. Listen, any industry that you are in, people are doing audio only podcasts. So I say that to say, go on Google, go and listen to some podcasts that are in your industry. And what you're listening for is listen to the content. Listen to the angle that they are presenting. Because notice I just Googled 3 industries top of mind that to me would be visual. Right? Like I wouldn't know what is a contractor going to talk about in an audio only format. I would think that'd be visual. Coffee, I'm thinking visual. The sewing, I would think that would be visual. But those are 3 things I just put in, and there's hundreds of podcasts talking about it. Now remember, these podcasts are all over the world, right? They're all over the world. You here are going to be able to create your own angle. That is one thing I always say for content, period, right? You are going to have your own perspective, your own style, your own way that you bring across the information, and your own angle. So my content is to help the Caribbean entrepreneur or people in the Caribbean diaspora or people looking to do business in the Caribbean that are interested in doing e-commerce marketing but want to learn how to do it. Either they're living in the Caribbean and they want to learn how to do it, or if you're on the outside of the Caribbean and you're wanting to learn how it's done in the Caribbean, that way you have ideas and information to bring back to your own territory. That's my angle. My angle is the Caribbean. How to do it, how to do marketing and e-commerce from the Caribbean perspective. That is my angle. So my content is always going to look and feel a certain way because the issues, the tools, the accessibility to things in the Caribbean is different than any other market. So my angle is always going to come from that lens of from the Caribbean. This is how it's done over here. And then people that listen, and as you guys know, the Digipreneur FM podcast is a global podcast. It's downloaded in over 100 countries. And people from Cyprus, Russia, South Korea, South Africa, Argentina, Panama, people are all listening in to see how it's done in the Caribbean. All right? So go on Google, type in your industry, and go and check out the podcast. And we're talking audio only, right? We're talking about, what can you do if you're not interested in doing a video podcast? What can you do? Well, jump on Google, type in your industry and type in podcasts. Go listen to some of the podcasts that are already happening within your industry. Listen to how they're pitching the content. Look at what type of content they're putting out there. Look at the angle they're using for their content. And that should help you craft your own podcast. And audio is a great medium to get your content and your message out there. And you also have to keep in mind the reason why podcasts have the highest consumption rate of any medium is because of how we listen to podcasts. We tend to put podcasts on if we're going to cook, if we're going to work out, if we're on a long drive, if we're on a hike, if we're doing something else that requires time. People just turn on the podcast and go do their own thing. And they listen to the podcast. Right? Passive consumption is the only medium that allows for that. So you go do that, jump on Google, type in your industry, type in your industry and podcasts, and go listen to some podcasts happening in your industry for inspiration. See how they're doing it, how the information is being brought across, and then go look into doing podcasts. Okay? So that's number 2, starting a podcast. And number 3 is starting a blog. I know you guys would have heard me say this on previous episodes, but start a blog. If you are not interested in doing video content, start a blog. Now, you do not need a website to start a blog. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to mention this. You do not need a website to start a blog. Because previously, whenever we spoke about blogging, it would have been from the angle of getting your domain, building a website, using blogging as a way to drive traffic back to your platform, right? But if we're talking about people who want to start getting their content out there, you don't need to have a website. If you have a website, great, blog. If you do not have a website, but you want to start creating content and you do not want to do video, then this is what you're going to do. You're going to jump on medium.com, create a free Medium account, and start to write. By the time you publish, you're going to get a link. You're going to be able to share that link across any social media platform so people can come and read your work, your blog, right? And Medium is going to be the platform that hosts your content, and it's a free platform on top of that. On top of that, Medium is also a community as well. So Medium is going to push out the content, the blog content, across its app, across its website, to its email people, to its email database, right? Because people also, when they're filling out their account information, they're going to say, what they're interested in. And once your content falls into things that they're interested in, then Medium is going to push it out to those people. Then you could use LinkedIn articles. So you could use LinkedIn, right? Create all of your written content on LinkedIn articles. And same thing, by the time you're done that as well, you're going to get a link to the blog. And then you could share that link across any social media platform. And then people are going to come back to your LinkedIn to read the article, right? And LinkedIn is also going to push that article out on its own network as well. And last but not least, if you do not have a website, you can go and use Blogger, blogger.com. That is the free blogging platform from Google. So create a free account on Blogger and start blogging on Blogger, right? And again, same thing. Blogger has its community. Google is going to push it out. It's going to be searchable via Google search engines as well. And you're going to get a link to be able to reshare that content across any social media platform. All right. So, if you do not want to do video, no problem. Oh, one thing I will add. If you don't want to do video, and you're one of your reasons to not wanting to do video is that you do not want to put your face in the video, start looking at accounts that do not use their face. One of my favorite YouTubers is a guy named Flossie Carter. And Flossie Carter is a tech blogger. He's a black tech blogger. Very hood, very new. He's from New York, so he has that New York accent. And, outside of his Instagram, like, you would never see Flossie's face because he doesn't put his face in his videos. It's only because, he has Instagram that I know what Flossie looks like. But Flossie does not put his face in his videos. Flossie uses his hands. And he has one of the biggest tech channels, period. And doesn't put his face in the videos. So start looking at everybody who doesn't, whether they're in your industry or not. Look at channels, look at videos where people are not using their face and look to see how they're bringing their videos to life. So Flossie does tech reviews and all he uses is his hands. He has his staple wooden table. He has, when he's doing unboxings, he has different army knives. And he has his co-host, White Shoes, his cat. I'm almost afraid I'm afraid when White Shoes passes, because White Shoes has been a staple for I think I've been watching Flossie myself maybe over 7 to 8 years at this point, right? So I mean, 7, 8 years, and his cat was in his videos long before then, right? So I know the cat's up there in age too. I'm almost afraid when White Shoes passes, because White Shoes is a staple in all of his videos. Matter of fact, he's leaned into it that he could start an unboxing and the cat is nowhere near him. And he'll make a joke and he'll be like, he'll introduce himself, introduce a topic, and then he'll shout out the cat. He'll be like, shout out to White Shoes. She got the day off. She's not here today. She's on vacation doing her thing. And the video continues, because there are videos where the cat's already in the video. But when she's not there, people always ask in the comment, hey, where's White Shoes? You can't start with White Shoes. So he's leading into it, and he's been like, yo, White Shoes is on vacation. She's doing her thing. And then later on in the video could be 20 minutes into the video, and White Shoes pops up. And he's leaned into it so much that he even had a White Shoes anthem produced. So there's a song that he plays whenever White Shoes comes into the picture. And he's leaned into it. But all of those little things brings to life his videos, even though it's just his hands. There are content creators on Instagram. There's Instagram accounts that I follow, and it's mainly book accounts. They don't speak, and they don't show their face. All they show is their hands, and they show the books. So if you do not want to put your face in the video, start looking at accounts, start looking at channels of people who do not put their face in the video, and start looking at all of the things that they do. What are they doing? Are they doing time lapses? Are they, what are they doing? Look at what they are doing. Look at how they are finding success, and start to take inspiration from those videos and make it your own. Because that's another thing that people don't say. You don't have to put your face in the video. There are ways to do it. There are ways to use your hands. There are ways to get creative. So if putting your face is the issue, you don't have to put your face in a video to find success with video content. There are ways to do it, but you have to be willing to experiment and do the work and get creative. Right? One of the reasons why I will always say I'm a blogger first. I love to write. I love making blogs. I love writing. So I like to write first, because for me, video is too much energy. Like, I know how I want to show up on video, and I don't have that every day. I know and I tell you guys this all the time, I love podcasting. I love podcasting. I might actually love podcasting more than I do writing. But I will say I'm a writer first, because writing allows me to just jump in anywhere and write. I could just use my phone, write out something. I could jump on my iPad, write. I could do it from any and everywhere. So it's the easiest way for me to be consistent. And I've just learned how to do blogging really well. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But I spend a lot of time learning how to blog and do better at written content. And I understand the benefits of written content. I've learned all of those things. So my written content gets traction because I've just studied it and learned about SEO, how to create readable, skimmable content, how to deliver my message. Well, the one thing that writing for the newspaper has gotten me to do is, learning how to write for 800 words. But then the thing with SEO is I've learned how to write for 2,500 words. So I've learned how to do all these different things with writing. And again, because writing doesn't require me to get on a mic, it doesn't require me to get on video, it doesn't require me to show my face or get dolled up or wonder how I'm looking. You know what I mean? I'm a guy. I'm not saying I need to go and dress prim and proper. I'm a hoodie type of guy. I'll be in shorts and a hoodie, on camera all day, every day. But when I say how I look, there are days where I might be physically tired. So I might not feel to be on camera. Right? I might just look tired. Or I might just not have gotten a haircut and I just look extra scruffy. And I'm like, man, I'm not even feeling to put my face on this thing. And that's just how I feel. So with writing, I don't ever there's no barriers. There's nothing for me to think about when it comes to writing. So writing always allows me to be the most consistent because for me personally, there is no barriers that I have. There's no self-checks that I have to do to get a blog done or to get an article pushed out. There's none. So writing is always going to be my number one love because there's no barriers for me to get it done. None. Not location, not what I have. I have a phone, I could write a blog. If I have my iPad, I'm definitely writing a blog. Right? Second for me, my second love is podcasting. And with podcasting, the reason I love podcasting so much is because I get to express myself. You get to feel my energy. I get to be crazy in my zone with podcasting. I'm on mic. I get to play with my effects. I have my intro, outro music. I get to be me 100%. And it's crazy because the energy I approach to podcasting is the same energy that I put for video. The difference is I know that there's no eyeballs on me. And I don't have to set the lights up. I don't got to do the extra stuff to get ready for video. With audio, I just need to turn on my Rodecaster, put my headphones on, hit record, and bam, I'm in. Most time the lights are not off. Most times the lights are off. And I'm recording in the dark. It's just my computer lights and my Rodecaster lights on. And I'm in my zone. And I love that. It makes me feel like I'm Batman in the Batcave just working. So podcasting is my second love. And it is the second easiest way for me to be consistent because less the barriers. I don't really have any barriers. The only barriers is, again, I would have to do it. I have to self-check and say, do I feel like being on video? Actually, no, let me save that for the video. But there's no real barriers for me when it comes to audio. The only real barrier is that I have a studio set up. So I always have to come to my office to do stuff. So let's just say I'm on the road. Let's just say I'm somewhere else. And so an idea hits me and I want to write. I can get the blog done where I'm at. I just whip up my phone and I do it. But let's just say, an audio for a podcast comes. I could jot down the points. And in that moment, I might be super hyped to record, but I might not be nowhere near my computer. And then what happens sometimes is when I do get the opportunity to get in front of the computer and record, I'm not enthused about that particular topic. And so one of the things that I do is I keep a running list of topics. And then what I will do is when I get in front of the computer to record, I will go through my list of topics and I'll say, okay, this topic is speaking to me today. I feel to speak. Or if there's a burning topic I want to get out there, I'll go with that. But, what will happen is there are days, and I've said this in past episodes as well, there are days where, I plan to come and do an episode, and I might wake up that morning or get in front of the computer, and I'm like, that's not the episode I want to do. I want to do something else. And I do something else. So that's the only thing with podcasting is that I always have to be in front of the computer to record. and I'm not always in front of the computer. All right. So with video, video for me has the most barriers. Because with video, I got to go through how am I feeling? Am I physically, you guys can see me physically. Am I physically feeling to be seen? Do I want to get in front of the camera? There's a lot of barriers for me to do video. So understand that when I do podcasting, I'm at 100% when I do podcasting. I'm always at 100% when I do podcasting. But when I do video, I'm at like 200% because there is just so much more that I have to do mentally to get in front of the camera to execute. There's a lot more that mentally I got to get into. I got to get into a mood to be seen. And that's because for me, personality-wise, I've just never been that person. It's funny saying it, but I've just never been that person that wanted the spotlight or to be seen and whatever. And again, there's probably deeper, reasons for that. I'm not going to get into, here. But again, I've learned how to work around how I feel about things. And so when I started, I did not want to do video because I did not want to be seen. And so I wrote. And when the blogs took on a life of its own, it made showing up on video easier. I felt it, the blogs helped me with being seen and being validated and feeling like, I could really do this. So blogging kind of let me dip my toe into, content creation and putting myself out there. So there's some people that need that they don't want to put themselves out there video first. That's like deep end. So how do we start putting ourselves out there with content? But how do we start from the shallow end and work our way to the deep end? So it could be that you do it with a blog. And if you don't have a website, no problem. Do the Medium or the Blogger or LinkedIn articles. Start there. Dip your toe in the shallow end and then work your way. And then maybe the middle area is podcasting. Because now it's more personal. People are hearing your voice. There's an energy that you got to bring to it. And then maybe that deep end is video, being seen. And for me, video is the deep end. Let me tell you something. I got a video. I got a voice note yesterday. And I couldn't stop laughing. And the video, I'm sorry, not the video. The voice note was I was doing a rehearsal. I was doing a dress rehearsal for a conference coming up tomorrow that I'm speaking at. And while during the rehearsal, the tech team asked, what am I going to be wearing? Because depending on your outfits, remember there's different types of mics. So they're prepared for everybody's outfits. So you have the headsets that you wear around your head that are a headset. You have you have the microphones that you put around your head, and they might give you that based on your outfit. Then you have the lapel mic, so depending on what you are wearing, it might not be able to clip onto you. So they have the handheld mics, and they have the lapel mics, and they have the microphones you put on your head, right? So they have all that. So they ask, what are you going to be wearing? So they have an idea as to what mic they're going to be using for you on the day of, right? And so the event producer was like, yo, this man is always in hoodies. Set him up for a mic that's going to work with his hoodie. And I laughed, and I'm like, nah. At first, they're like, okay, great. We know what we're going to do. We're going to give you the headset to wear. And I was like, yo, nah, I'm going to be a bit more business casual. I'm going to wear like a crew neck sweater. I'm not going to wear a hoodie. And the producer knows me. So she's like, what? What kind of, what? And the other guys were like a V-neck or like a circle. I'm like, circular. They're like, oh, okay. Then they're like, okay, we're going to give you the headphone mic because the lapel might not. Anywho, I say all that to say that after that, when I left, I got a voice note from one of the people who is one of the organizers putting on the event. I've never met this person before. but they I don't know how the conversation came up with the event producer, but the executive was like, listen, if the Digiboss does not come in his patented hoodie and hat, we're gonna have problems. And I couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, wow. I'm like, look at that. The days, there are days where I don't want to be on video. There are days where, even I myself, I'm like, I'm doing conferences and things like that, and I don't feel like being on video, and I don't feel like dressing up, and, other people are going to be in shirt, ties, and like, man, I don't feel like doing none of that, and I'm just always in a hoodie. But there's days I'm thinking about, maybe I should be a bit more professional. But then people are watching you on video, and that, they love it. So the executive is like, no, he has to come in person. We have grown accustomed to the hoodie. We want the hoodie. We want that energy. We want that energy that we see on camera. We want the hoodie. We want the hat. We want that whole vibe. That whole vibe that you do on video, we want that vibe on stage. And I was like, wow, people really watch. They really watch it, So, that's something that you would only get on video, right? They know my energy. I'm dressed, and how I dress in video supports my energy. They know I'm down to earth. They know I'm high energy, really energetic. I'm not coming there to be, Mr. Button Up and what. No, I'm there in a hoodie. I'm there backwards hat, and I'm talking my stuff. And that just all supports the energy and helps to build your brand. So figure out, again, this is all part of figuring out, why you don't want to do video and figuring out, what can you do to make it work. So for me, I know when I'm on video, I got to be comfortable. And for me, comfy is a hoodie and hat. But not every day I want to do it, but, again, it's just good to know that, that gets seen in that light. And it supports my energy, it supports my vibe, and people want that vibe in person. But they would only ever know that, by watching. So video is important. I want you guys to do video and figure out. That's why the first thing I said was figure out how we could do video. Let's figure out, why you don't want to do it, and let's figure out how to overcome. Let's figure out how we could work with who we need to work with to do video. But then if you really, really don't want to do video, then we could look at podcasting. We could look at blogging. And at that point, you just got to get comfortable with putting yourself out there, dipping your toe in the shallow end. And once you get comfortable, then putting yourself out in video may become easier down the line. It took me some time, but it became easier over time. And now it's never a problem for me to do video, but now I just have my own personal things where I know what I bring on video, and I'm not always in that mood, but I'm always in that mood through writing, and I'm always in that mood for podcasting. But in videos, I'm like, I'm not in that kind of vibe today, But I know what I need to get on video. I know where I need to be, and when I need to tap into that, I tap into that. And I know that, I could write every day. I could podcast every other day. But I can't do video every day. Because I know what energy I want to bring. So I know how to tap into that. And, I use it. I tap into it when I need to. And I've just gotten to that point. So I need you guys to get to that point. Because the reality is, as much as you can grow without video, video is going to help. Video is going to help. Right? But the point is, don't just not do anything. Don't just create static posts on social media. Don't just take a picture and post it. The worst thing you could do is just be taking a picture and posting it with a long-ass caption. That social media is burying all that stuff. It's burying it. You're wasting your time. So take these 3 points on how to do video if you are not interested in doing video for your content marketing, and start to work on it. All right? So that's it from me for today's episode. I just want to thank you guys again for making Digipreneur FM the #1 podcast in Trinidad and Tobago. If you guys like the podcast, make sure to drop your reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. They help tremendously grow the Digipreneur community all across the world. Don't forget to rate the podcast. You can rate the podcast on platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And again, those help the podcast grow globally, okay? You can also follow me over on social media at Keron Rose, KeronRose, on any platform. That is LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow me on any platform. All right. Check out the KeronRose.com website to learn more about building your digital presence and monetizing your platforms. And you could also check out the Digipreneur.fm website to stay up to date with all things happening in the podcast world. All right. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. That is it from us here at the Digipreneur FM podcast. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay safe, everybody. Take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Keron Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Keron Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.